So if I had the power to make a difference, I would look towards the cleanup mechanisms. When the BP spill occurred, we were still skimming as far as removing the crude oil from the surface. We have been skimming for decades and decades and decades. There was no emphasis on new technologies on how to remove that crude oil from the environment in a quick and efficient manner. I would put resources into doing that kind of development, because as we explore more and more, we're going to have more and more of these spills, and we need to be prepared. And just putting skimming vessels and skimmers and booms in all these communities on the coast is not adequate to address the problem. And secondly, I'd make sure that the medical community, as it goes through medical school, is trained appropriately to deal with environmental health problems, not only from the BP spill, but from all the industrial pollution that's impacting these communities. Teach those pre-med and med students how to really address environmental exposure. If we had those two things, we could have made a lot larger action appropriately in response to this spill. So when you look at the medical community, first, usually not being educated enough to understand what the environmental exposures are and what health impacts result. And then you look at how they are hesitant to step forward because of all the political pressure. There needs to be a mechanism where you get them appropriately trained and they are available to help the impacted communities. And that is going to be a huge step, because right now in Louisiana, industry is king. Oil and gas is king. And if anyone in any way wants to earn a living, they have to acknowledge what that power is. And even if you get people that get elected to the legislature that want to make a difference, after they've been in there a few years and they're up for re-election, the industry is going to sponsor some other candidate to take over. So that would be a wonderful thing, to be able to have people appropriately trained and willing to do what needs to be done in spite of the political pressure.